This conference will now be recorded.
Sai, you're talking on mute? Sorry,
Can
Sunil,
you hear
if
me?
you're talking on mute. Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Welcome to the session. This is Sunil. I hope I am audible now. So we today, as planned, we are discussing about the next tool of DevOps that is called as Docker. Very, very important tool. That's Docker. Okay. Now, what is Docker? How is it different? Docker is a containerization tool. Containerization tool is the next level of virtualization. So what is containerization? How containerization is better than virtualization? What are the advantages of containerization? And we'll also learn how can we install Docker on AWS. And we will be familiar with these terminologies called Docker images, Docker containers, Docker host, and Docker client. So these are the four terms which we should be familiar about the Docker in today's session. Okay. So without any delay, so let's start the term. Okay. The first point, if anybody asks you what is Docker, your answer should be Docker is a containerization tool. First point, what you need to know is that Docker is a containerization tool. Next point, what is containerization? To understand the concept of containerization, we should understand the concept of virtualization. I hope many of us are having an understanding about the term called virtualization. Okay, but still first we'll discuss about virtualization, and containerization is next level to virtualization. First we'll understand virtualization and then we'll understand what we mean by containerization. Okay, look at this. Dheeraj, any idea on virtualization? What do you mean by virtualization technology like VMware? Have you experienced it? Well, how does virtualization works? Any idea?
No, sir.
Dheeraj, no idea?
No, sir.
Okay. Assume this is my laptop. Okay. This is my laptop. My laptop is having 101 TB of hard disk, 8 GB RAM. Okay, and 1 TB of hard disk. Fine. This is my hardware layer. Okay, on top of my laptop hardware, so what did I install? Can you see we have installed Windows operating system, isn't it? So Windows 10 is operating system. So on top of, to run any hardware, we need obviously operating system. So Windows 10 is my operating system. On Windows 10, I'll install whatever the applications I want. Kite, Notepad, whatever it is, we'll do that. Okay, now my requirement is I want to work with Linux operating system. I don't want to work with Windows operating system. My requirement is Linux operating system. Option one, I can format my operating system Windows 10. I can install Linux. Linux is an operating system. That's option 1. Option 2, what you can do, you can use this virtualization software called VMware. Please have a look at it. What I have used, I'm using a tool called as VMware Workstation. So it's a virtualization tool. So on Windows, I have installed virtualization technology. That's VMware. Is it? On Windows, I have installed VMware. On top of VMware, please observe here what I'm running. Can you see Red Hat Linux? Yes, can you see we have a Linux operating system? So my requirement is satisfied. I want to work with Linux operating system. So I can start my VMware, I can install Linux and open terminal, and I can learn Linux. And whenever I want to get back to Windows, I will minimize this VMware workstation. I got my Windows back. So virtualization technology helps you to have multiple operating systems running on the same hardware. Please have a look at this. So on VMware, I have installed a virtual machine that is called as Linux. Clear of how exactly virtualization works? Any questions in understanding the virtualization? Because now we'll be comparing with the containerization tool, that is Docker. Any questions in understanding virtualization? I hope few of you already have experience in virtualization, isn't it, Bhargav, Naruni, Sai? Clear? Okay. Okay. Now, in case of virtualization, in case of our virtual machine, that's Linux machine, to run Linux machine on VMware, to run any machine, we need 3 hardware components. This Linux machine also needs RAM. This Linux machine also needs processor. This Linux machine also needs hard drive. These are the 3 components a Linux machine needs. Yes, I need to allocate some RAM for this Linux machine. I need to allocate some processor for this Linux machine. I need to allocate the hard drive for the Linux machines. If I'm saying file in Linux, where it should be stored? It should be stored in the hard drive. So we'll be allocating the hardware resources to the virtual machines which we are running. Where can we see the hardware which is allocated to this Linux machine? So you can see the Linux is running here, isn't it? If you look at this Linux machine which is running, go to settings. This Linux machine is using how much RAM? Memory is nothing but referring to RAM. It's 4 GB approximately. How many processors I have allocated? 2 processors I have allocated. How much hard disk space I have allocated? 60 GB of hard disk space. Are you understanding? So I have allocated the hardware components. Then only when you run this particular virtual machine, when you right click and when you're doing some tasks, because it is having processor, RAM, and hard disk, yes, you are able to work with a virtual machine. So we need to allocate hardware resources to run your virtual machines. Clear about this? What are the 3 hardware resources which are required? Obviously RAM, hard disk, and a processor. Okay, so this is about the concept of virtualization. So even the virtualization is very successful tool. Okay, now specific to DevOps technology, so we'll not use virtualization tool, we'll be using a containerization tool. So Docker, VMware is a virtualization tool. So similar to VMware, we have one more tool called as Docker. Okay, so Docker is a containerization tool. Containerization tool is next level to virtualization. It's a containerization tool. How the containerization tool looks like? Please look at this. First layer is hardware layer. Hardware can be a laptop or a desktop. Okay. To run this, we need an operating system. That's nothing but an operating system. Okay. Instead of VMware, we will install a containerization tool, that is Docker. Docker. Instead of VMware instead of virtualization tool, we'll install containerization tool, that's Docker. On top of Docker, you can create containers. Here it's called as virtual machines. Here it is called as containers. So you can create a Linux container. On top of Docker. Okay. Now the point is, if you want on Linux, can you install Tomcat? Definitely, why not? On Linux, you can definitely install Tomcat. So if you want, you can install Tomcat on Linux. Applications runs on operating system, isn't it? So this is the Linux operating system. On top of it, you can install Tomcat. If you install SQL Server database, whichever you want, you can do that. So if your planning is here, if Tomcat needs to run, so Tomcat, let's say if Tomcat needs more hardware resources, Tomcat will talk to Linux operating system. Linux will pass on the inputs to the VMware. VMware will use the actual operating system. From there, the hardware is allocated. Right? If Tomcat needs more RAM, so this is the way Tomcat communicates to the actual hardware layer. Whereas here in case of Docker, here Tomcat needs an operating system, whereas in Docker there is no concept of operating system dependency. Directly you can install Tomcat container on Docker. Yes. You have removed one layer of operating system. This operating system which is actually running the hardware is called as host operating system. Host operating system. The operating system which is running on VMware is called as guest operating system. This is called as guest operating system. So if you want to have any application running on virtualization, you need to have a guest operating system. If you want SQL Server to be executed, okay, so it needs to have an operating system on the VMware. Whereas if you want SQL Server database, you don't need to directly, you can install directly on Docker. Yes, you are eliminating a layer, a operating system dependency. If you want, you can install Linux, you can run Tomcat. You can run MySQL, whatever you want. It does not need any dependency on operating system. Docker eliminates the need for an operating system layer. Which operating system layer? Guest operating system layer is not required. Whatever the application you want, you can directly install and run it on Docker. And most important point is that you don't need to allocate hardware resources for MySQL container. You don't need to allocate RAM, hard disk, and processor. You don't need to allocate any fixed hardware resources. It automatically takes the resources as per the requirements and as per the availability. Did you understand? Did you understand? This means in case of virtualization, let's say if 8 GB RAM is there in our hardware, to run Windows it needs minimum 4 GB. Assume that for actual operating system is needing 4 GB of RAM. Remaining how many GB is available for the VMware layer? It is only 4 GB. Out of 4 GB, 2 GB if you are allocating for Linux machine. If you create another machine, you need to allocate 2 more machines. That's it. Maximum how many virtual machines you can run? 2 virtual machines. Because of the hardware allocation. Whereas in case of Docker, as you don't allocate any hardware resources for containers, this is called as containers. the actual application which is required by the resource is called as a container. In case of containerization, we will never allocate hardware resources, as we are never allocate a hardware resources. You can have create 10 containers. You can create 10, 20 containers on Docker. There is no need for allocating of fixed hardware resources in case of containerization tool. So that's why Docker is called as a containerization tool, whereas VMware is called as virtualization tool. In containerization tool, you have eliminated the layer for a guest operating system. So the performance of the containers will be more when compared to the performance of virtualization, because you are removing one layer called as operating system dependency. If MySQL needs more hardware resources or needs to save some data, it communicates to Docker. Docker communicates to Windows operating system. It will communicate to hardware. One layer is reduced. As one layer is reduced, you will find the improvement in the performance. Clear? Clear about this? So in these cases, Docker is completely different. In these scenarios, Docker is completely different from virtualization tool. Containerization is completely different from virtualization. Please have a look at this. Any questions? Any questions in understanding the concept of containerization tool? In containerization tool, we'll create application. Yeah, that application is called as containers. Clear? Clear about this? Okay. Please look at this. Virtualization needs a fixed hardware allocation. Virtualization needs a fixed hardware allocation. We need to allocate fixed hardware resources in virtualization. Whereas containerization, the first most important, there is no fixed hardware allocation. And containerization runs on process isolation. Containerization runs on process isolation. That means there's no dependency on the operating system. The containers, the final containers which are running on Docker does not need an operating system. That's why these are called as process isolation. Docker is a process isolation concept. Look at this. In comparison to traditional virtualization functionalities of hypervisors, traditional virtualization hypervisors are nothing but VMware. Docker eliminates the need for separate guest operating system for every virtual machine. There's no need for operating system dependency. We don't need to have an operating system. Docker implements a high-level APIs and provides a lightweight containers that runs on process isolation. Process isolation is nothing but removing the dependency in the operating system. Docker implements a process isolation. It removes the dependency on operating system. Docker containers enables rapid deployment with minimum runtime requirements. So if you want to have Tomcat running, Tomcat will have minimum hardware requirements. Tomcat should have minimum 3 GB RAM. It have minimum requirement processor needs to be. Whereas in process isolation called Docker, that does not need any minimum requirements, because we never allocate any hardware resources to the containers. So there's no requirement of minimum hardware resources, and ensures better management and simplified portability. At any point of time, you can remove the container. At any point of time, you can create a container. Portability is very, very important advantage. It helps the developers and operations team in rapid deployment of application. How does Docker helps the development team and operations team? How does Docker helps in development team and working with the development team and operations team? Look at the scenario. Development team, okay, development team needs an Oracle database. Development team needs an Oracle database. Okay, so it is so let's say they want the Oracle database to use as the backend. So it is whose responsibility to provide the Oracle database server? Obviously, the operations team responsibility to provide the Oracle database the required version. The development team. Okay, so when development team gives the requirements to the operations team, So when development team gives the requirements to the operations team saying that they need an Oracle database, the operations teams comes up with these two scenarios. Look at this, try to understand. The operations team says that right now the hardware is not available. So all our rack servers are completely filled with some software. So you need to give us at least 10 days of notice period to provide the Oracle database infrastructure. Hardware is not available with the operations team. That's case one. Case two, the operations team comes with the response that if you need Oracle database, we need a DBA. We need an Oracle DBA, isn't it? It is whose responsibility to provide Oracle database. Obviously, DBA responsibility to install Oracle database and provide to the development team. So the operations team says that we don't have skilled resources. We don't have DBA. We have SQL Server DBA. So is that okay if instead of Oracle DBA, can we provide SQL Server DBA? So this kind of resources, this kind of scenarios is causing the delay in the software development process. Either the infrastructure hardware is not available, all the skilled resources are not available. There comes the need for a DevOps engineer. As a DevOps engineer, what we need to do using the tool called as Docker, we'll be creating a container. What container will be creating? Like MySQL, we'll be creating an Oracle container. And we don't need to learn Oracle. So Docker has a concept of containerization concept where we'll download the Oracle image and run the image so database gets created. So first point, when development team needs a particular application, it could be database application, it could be Tomcat or WebLogic, whatever it is. So as a DevOps engineer, what you can do using Docker, you can provide the right infrastructure to the development team in no time. Yes, you can provide Oracle database in just 2 minutes of time. Just 2 minutes of time. And as I told you, it does not. We don't allocate any fixed hardware resources, even though hardware is not a problem, available. That's not a problem. As per the availability, Oracle uses the hardware which is running on Docker. Okay, so as a DevOps engineer using Docker, we will be providing the infrastructure to the development team. We will be providing the infrastructure to the development team. If development team needs Tomcat, yes, we can provide it. If development team needs MySQL, yes, we can provide it. If development team needs a Linux operating system, within 2 minutes, we can provide it. Generally, to install an operating system, it will take minimum 1 hour, isn't it? So in Docker, we can provide a Linux operating system. Whatever the operating system development team needs, we can provide it in just 2 minutes by writing some commands. So that's the beauty of Docker. Docker helps in quickly providing the infrastructure to the development team. So the development team will not wait for the response for the operations team. So they start doing their research and development using containers. This final applications which is running on Docker is called as containers. Clear for the importance of Docker. Any questions in understanding the concept of Docker? Pushpak, Sai. Okay, let's proceed. Okay. So you have understood the concept of advantages of Docker. The first important advantage is there is no need for an operating system layer. Second important advantage is there is no need for fixed allocation of resources. Okay, and we can provide any container whatever they want. Container is nothing but an application. When I said container, understand it's an application. Whatever the development team wants, within no time we can provide them the infrastructure which is required. We'll see practically how exactly we can do that. Okay. Okay. So let's learn how can we install Docker. So let's log into AWS. Anyways, we'll be running on AWS environment, isn't it? So let's log into AWS. So we don't need these. So let's create a new machine. As usual, let's go with an Ubuntu machine. Number of machines 1. On traffic. Beyond launch, click on launch. Create a new key pair. Docker today's 2. Download the key pair. We have created an EC2 machine. Next, what we need to do will be installing Docker in this machine. Let's connect to this machine. How to install Docker? To install Docker on a particular EC2 machine, so there's a site called get.docker.com. Okay, so can you see? This is a script meant for quick and easy installation via these 2 commands. These are the 2 commands which are meant for installing Docker. And remember, whenever you are dealing with Docker, please deal with hash prompts. Always work with the root user. So please switch to root user. Always go to root user and work with Docker. Right now I'm in root user, and these are 2 commands. Get-docker.sh. You need to download the shell script. Then you need to run this. Installing Docker is a very, very easy way. Let's wait. Done. How to check whether Docker is successfully installed or not? We have a command docker -version. Docker ---- version is a command to test or check whether Docker is successfully installed. Yes, we haven't successfully installed Docker. So installing Docker is a pretty simple task, just running these two commands. The Docker gets installed. Okay, so we have installed Docker. Stop this. Don't need this virtualization. Okay. Now let's be familiar with these four terms. So you know what is Docker? Docker is a containerization tool, and you also know that how containerization is different from virtualization. Advantage of containerization is what? No dependency in operating system, no fixed hardware allocation of resources. Okay. We also have learned how can we install Docker. It's a very simple process. Let us understand the terminologies of Docker. Let us understand the Docker terminologies. First terminology is Docker image. Let's try to understand what do you mean by image. Okay. Look at this. The first terminology what we are learning is Docker image. Image is a combination of binaries and libraries. Image is a combination of binaries and libraries which are required for one software application. Okay, it's combination of binaries and libraries. For example, if the development team needs, try to understand. If development team needs Tomcat server, if development team needs Tomcat server as a DevOps engineer, you can provide the Tomcat server using Docker. So when development team needs Tomcat as a DevOps engineer, what you need to do? First, you need to download the image. First thing what you need to do is to download the image. The image should, if development needs Tomcat server, you should download Tomcat image. So what is image? Image is nothing but combination of binaries and libraries. So that's first we should download it. After downloading, what you need to do, you need to run the image. After downloading, what you need to do, you need to run the image. What happens when you run the image? When you run the image, what you get is a container. Do you understand? What you get is a container. The final application which is ready to use is called as a container. This is what we want. Container is nothing but the final live application. So if you need a container, first step what you need to do, you need to download image. What is image? Image is nothing but a combination of binaries and libraries. Look at this. When image is installed or executed or installed and comes into a running condition, it's called as a container. You cannot do anything with the image. You should run the image. When you run the image, container gets created. Container is the actual application. Isn't it? Let's say, for example, I want to download Skype. So I want a Skype application. What we'll do first, we download the Skype. It's an exe file. After downloading Skype, what we'll do, we'll run the exe file, then the application will be created, isn't it? The application will be installed. In the same way, whatever the application what the development team wants, you need to follow a two-step process. First, we should download the correct image. You may have a doubt from where we have to download, how to download. All this we'll see practically. First, try to understand terminology. Image is nothing but combination of binaries and libraries. Image is nothing but combination of binaries and libraries. First, you should download the image. Okay, the image gets downloaded. You cannot do anything with the image. What you have to do, you need to run the image. When you run the image, then finally what we get is a container. Container is the actual application. Clear? Clear about the terms called Docker images and Docker containers. Next, Docker host. The machine on which Docker is installed is called as Docker host. The machine on which Docker is installed is called as Docker host. Where did we install Docker? We have installed Docker in this machine. So this is called as Docker host. This machine is called as Docker host. If you install Docker on your Windows machine, your Windows machine is called as Docker host. I have installed in the Ubuntu machine, it's called as a Docker host. Okay, so machine on which Docker is installed is called as Docker host. Next, Docker client. Terminal used to run Docker commands. Terminal which is used to run Docker commands is called as Docker client. Where do we run the Docker commands? We'll be running the Docker commands in this git bash. Docker ---- version is also a Docker command. So we'll download the image here by writing a command. We run the image by writing the command. The terminal in which we are writing the Docker commands is called as Docker client. The terminal is called as what? Docker client. So the four terminologies: Docker image, containers, host, client. Clear. Clear about the terminologies. What do you mean by image? What do you mean by container? Docker host, Docker client. Okay. Okay. So let's start experiencing what do you mean by image. For your clarity, let's have some practicals. Let's start some practicals. Look at this. Yes.
Here, Docker host means where we install the Docker. This is the Docker host.
Where are we installing Docker, Sai?
In AWS.
Yes, so that is called as Docker host.
Okay.
This machine is called as Docker host.
Yeah.
Okay. Clear, Sai?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. Okay. So let's have some practical understanding about Docker. Let's have some practical understanding about Docker. We should be familiar about the commands. Learning Docker is nothing but perfectly working with these commands. Don't by heart the commands. Okay. Don't by heart the command. Anyways, I'll provide you all these commands. Understand the commands logically. Look at this. To download the image, as I said, if you need a container, as I told you, if you need a container, first you should download the image. To download the image, so you need to run a command. Docker pull is a command. Followed with mention the name of the image, whichever you want. The image gets downloaded. If you want to run Tomcat, if you want a Tomcat application, Docker pull Tomcat. Docker pull Ubuntu. So whatever you want, images you want, you can pull it. You download it by using Docker pull command. So you can easily guess what is the command to upload the image. If pull is a command to download, obviously push is a command to upload the image. Let's say you have downloaded image 1, image 2, image 3. Whenever you want to see list of all the images, Docker image ls. ls in Linux we have a list, isn't it? What you want the list of images, so image ls. And every Docker command starts with the word Docker. Every Docker command starts with the word Docker. Okay, so you have downloaded image 1, image 2, image 3. Whenever you want to see list of images, Docker image ls. Or we have a command Docker images plural to see list of all the images. To remove an image, to delete an image, RMI, docker RMI is a command is used to remove image. And the image it will be removed. To upload an image, docker push. To tag an image, you can provide a tag. Tagging is nothing but providing your own name. Docker tag followed the image name. We'll see practically. To build an image from the customized container, docker commit. To build an image from the Docker file, Docker build all this, you should be on your fingertips. To search for an image, Docker search. To delete all images which are not attached to containers, Docker system for. So these are the commands related to images. These are the commands which are related to images. Okay, so all this should be in your fingertips. Next, commands related to containers. To see containers, Docker container ls. To image, to see containers, container ls. To see list of images, Docker image ls. So the terminology changes. To see list of running and stopped containers, a container can be in running state, a container can be in stopped state. If you want to see list of all the stopped and running containers, Docker ps-a for all. To start a container, Docker start. To stop a container, Docker stop. Very simple. To restart a container, Docker restart. To delete a container, to delete a stopped container, rm. We have rm command in Linux, isn't it? To remove a file, here we have rm to remove a container. To remove a stopped container. If you want to delete a running container, Docker rm-f, F for file system, all the files related to the container will be completely removed. To stop all running containers, Docker stop ps-aq is to stop all the containers. To restart, Docker restart.
Sunil, -f
To
is
remove
for
Docker
hosts, I
RM.
think.
To remove all contents, Docker rm-f. File system. From the file system. Okay, the complete file system files related to container will be removed. To see the logs, Docker logs. To see the port of a container, Docker port. To get more information about the container, Docker inspect. To get into shell of a container, if you want to enter into a container which is already running, Docker attach. To execute a command inside the container, Docker exec. To create a container from the image, Docker run image. These are container related commands. First one is image related commands. Next one is container. There are run command options. All these I'm just giving you a glance. Anyways, we'll start practically. IT for interactive terminal. -m. When you see practically, you will feel more comfortable. -name providing a name to a container. D for detached mode. E for processing environment variables to container. P for port mapping. Capital P for automatic port mapping. V for attaching volume to the container. -, volume for sharing the volume between the container. -, network to link to containers. A specific network. The -, link is also for linking the multi-container architecture. -, memory is used to know specify the maximum amount of RAM a container can use. You can limit it. These are run command options. These are run command. Okay. Let's start practicals. As I said, if you need a container, first what you need to download the image. Okay, you need to download the image. So if you want a Tomcat container, we have a Docker first command. Docker pull image name. Here is my Docker terminal. I want Tomcat container. First, I need to download the image. Docker. I don't want Tomcat. I don't want to start with Tomcat. I want to start with the Jenkins or Ubuntu. I need an Ubuntu operating system. So first, what I'll do, Docker pull. What is happening here? Try to understand. Docker image is downloaded. I want Jenkins container. Two images downloaded. If you want to see the list of images, Docker image ls. So one Ubuntu, I have downloaded the image. One Jenkins image I have downloaded. Okay, like this will download them. And what do you do once the image is downloaded? You cannot do anything. We need to run the image. We need to run the image so that the container gets created. We download the image. Now if you want to run the image so that the container gets created, I want to have an Ubuntu container. I want Tomcat image to be downloaded. Okay. Docker. The name of the image is Tom EE. The first point, very important. I need an Ubuntu image I have downloaded. I need a Jenkins image I have downloaded. What are the commands I am using? Docker full image name. What's the name of the image Ubuntu? The first point is how to know the image name. That's first point. Second point, we should know from where the images are getting downloaded. Docker is maintaining all the images in a site hub.docker.com. Docker is maintaining all the images in the site hub.docker.com. Yes, it's also called as Docker Hub. Is also called as Docker Hub. Now you want an Ubuntu image. Search for Ubuntu. This is the right way, professional way of finding the image. Search. This is the official image. Ubuntu image. You want to download this image. Select this image, whichever you want. Then here you will copy paste to pull this image. Docker pull Ubuntu. Got it, Deba? Clearly, they are clearly providing you the Docker full command to download this image. So whichever the image development team needs, whichever the application development team needs, first you search for the image in the Docker Hub and get the Docker pull command. I want Jenkins. Okay. What is there? This is Jenkins official. Docker pull Jenkins, the same command. I want Tomcat. This is Tomcat image. This is also an official image. I prefer the second one. There are some issues with the first one. Second one I prefer. Docker pull Tom EE. So you know from where it is getting downloaded. The images are getting downloaded from the Docker Hub. Next point, once the images are downloaded, what do we do? How to see list of images? Docker image ls. Three images we have. We have downloaded 3 images. But what do we do with the images? You cannot do anything with the images unless you need to run the image. Then the container gets created. how to run the image, how to create a container, how to provide a name to the container, how to access that container, how to perform port mapping. We'll not discuss now. We'll discuss it in our tomorrow session. Okay. So meanwhile, please have a glance before coming tomorrow's class. Have a glance on Docker commands. Learning Docker is nothing but working with Docker commands. You should be familiar with Docker commands. Okay. So anyways, I'll be mailing you the Docker commands. Please have a glance at the Docker commands. We already have learned how to download the images. In tomorrow's session, we'll learn how can we run the image so that the container gets created and how can we access the container. That's our plan for tomorrow's session. Okay. Any questions on today's session, Taruni? Pushpak? Okay. Thank you all. I'll mail you these notes and you get the videos as usual. Thank you. Bye everyone.